Amelia, watch the field sensors. And then reverse the thrusters. We're going right for them.
It is the Solar One SCI-Fi podcast.
Hello and welcome to this week's insane episode of the Solar One Sci-Fi podcast. What number is it?
I think it's 127.
And we're at 127. Poor you're going to have to suffer. Me and my wonderful co-host from another dimension, from another time, from another world, from another universe. I present to you my host, Michael Ball, a.k.a. Copeland.
I think I said my husband
then. I recommend check out his YouTube channel, and it's amazing.
Oh, thank you
and
very
I'm
much,
by
Martin.
the gods of science fiction.
You are by the gods of science fiction, and likewise, you should check out Martin's channel. It's really good. You've been showing some great stuff on your channel recently with some, was it Star Maidens, is it? And you've been doing all sorts of things. So it looks like you're having a good time sharing some stuff.
Yeah, I realise I can put all the crap on that's not copyrighted.
Is it not copyrighted? Do you not even get like
Well, it's weird. Like I loaded 6 up this morning, and one of them were like 5 seconds of a music track is copyrighted in the background.
Yeah, you get some very strange things.
That's
I remember.
what I mean. But they have pulled all my Invaders music videos.
Oh, yeah, but sometimes it can be
odd.
delayed. I mean, you might be aware that it might actually be in time. They might suddenly come up and say, oh, no, you can't sort of like feature Star Maidens or something. So
Yeah.
I suggest that you do it while you can. Just be careful, as long as you don't get a strike. If you get a strike for any of the Star Maidens, for one strike, then take everything off, because otherwise, if you get 3 strikes, you're out. So just be aware of it. I've had a lot of bad experiences with this sort of stuff, and you know, it's very strange. It's very inconsistent that certain things they really don't seem to give a damn about, and other things like 5 seconds of the Incredible Hulk throwing a plastic boulder into the or throwing a bear.
Yeah.
They'll come down on you like that. So it's very, very erratic.
Yeah. Again, I've seen people upload entire TV series.
Yeah,
and they don't
exactly.
get to.
No, I know. I mean, I
And then
upload-
when I do it, I get blocked.
Yeah, it's strange. It doesn't even mean, even if you've got like a lot of subscribers, it doesn't seem to be. I don't know what the actual catalyst is.
No, I don't. I did try
annoying.
and contact them about it, and it were like going through what menage of guff to try and appeal against it. I just gave up. They don't
really
make that
annoying.
easy either.
Really annoying, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's brilliant. So I hope that goes well, and it's well worth, like I said, checking those out. So this week we're going to feature a film which has been kind of slightly comical in recent weeks because of a certain ship design, which we want to be talking about probably, and we are agreeing to differ about this one. So we are talking about Battle Beyond the Stars, which I'm going to look up on the Internet Movie Database, which I should have done before we started recording, so I'm just so disorganised. So while I'm loading that up, Martin, first of all, what do you think about this movie? How do you like it? And when did you first see it?
I don't know what it is about this film. Honestly, do not know. When I watched this and I uploaded it to YouTube, I've not seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
And the opening, the music by James Horner is superb.
Oh, I know it is. Very Star Trek 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah, God, yeah. And
It's
so
like-
your head's on your back going, this looks like an epic movie, and it's completely bonkers.
Yeah.
Completely bonkers. You've got George Peppard. I don't know, they just...
George Peppard.
He's just pissed in this movie. I think they said, look, we're going to give you 150 grand.
I think he was pissed while he was filming it. I really
Now,
do.
definitely,
Yeah,
with his
yeah.
portable bar on his belt. Because 98, I think a big chunk of the budget went on Robert Vaughn and George Peppard.
Yeah.
He did, yeah. So he's pissed. Right, he's pissed. Robert Vaughn made this film for me. I thought he was the best in this film.
I mean, Robert Vaughn, I remember from Superman 3.
Yeah, he was good in that as well. I thought he was.
But what else have you seen him in? I mean, I know he's quite
Oh,
well known
Man from Uncle.
Man from Uncle, that's it.
He was
I was trying to think what it was. Man from Uncle was the one I was trying to think.
The irony, Battle Beyond the Stars is based on Magnificent Seven.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, the 7 warriors, the Japanese.
Oh yeah, I've never seen the Magnificent
Seven warriors that take on the big bad that comes into town.
Right.
Battle Beyond the Stars, that's what it is. It's the Magnificent Seven in space. And Robert Vaughn is playing the same character as he played in the original.
Oh,
So
okay.
they paid him. He got a load of money. Then they got her with the big assets. Don't get me started on her. You got her with the big assets, and then you come into a whole hamstrung of weird, odd aliens, like the clones and the lizard guy. And then
The
we meet
lizard
the
guy.
robot guy who lives in that space station, who wants him to breed with his daughter, John Boy Walton, who just had
I
no
think he
charisma
was. I think he was
in this
really
film.
miscast. I was actually
I agree.
talking to somebody about this. I mean, I obviously the inspiration for him being cast was Mark Hamill from Star Wars. I think they tried to sort of do something along the lines of kind of like a youngish sort of innocent sort of, well, relatively innocent person who becomes a sort of hero kind of thing. But he was really miscast, I think, and I think this possibly is one of the only faults of the series, because it was an ensemble film. Luckily it doesn't actually have such a detriment to the movie in its totally, but he was a bit of a muppet, wasn't he? I mean, he was like you know what I mean?
He brought nothing to the table.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
There were no charisma. It were like looking at a damp squib. But for some reason, because of the ensemble cast, it were covered.
It worked. Yeah, it does. And that's what I'm
It
saying.
worked. I mean,
Because of
there's
the
a scene. There's a scene where she, you know, her with the big assets, like
Hashtag she with the big assets.
Sybil Danning, like she says, you know, live young and die gloriously, and she's like, and sex, stick with me, you know, because she wants to get her claws into him, but he's too moralistic about it, you know. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, the film is. I mean, they all sacrificed themselves for this pointless planet. Oh no!
Yeah, and then in the middle of nowhere, who cared about it? Why were they doing
well,
this?
that's it. But of course, John Saxon was superb in this. John Saxon,
was he the villain?
He was
John Saxon
Sador,
the
the baddie.
Yeah, that's
the
it.
baddie.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
In his garbage scout taken from Battlestar Galactica.
Galactica. Was it the same model? Because it looked like it's the same one from
I think it
Battlestar.
was, but there've been some alterations.
It looks similar to the one in part of the fleet.
Yeah,
in the
but
back.
guess who did all the model work for this and special effects?
I don't know who was it.
He started his career, James Cameron.
James Cameron. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
Yeah, it's his first film he did.
But he didn't. He didn't produce it. Was he like a co-producer or something? What was he? In
Well,
it?
he got friendly with Roger Corman. He started working at his studios.
Okay, so James
And-
Cameron was a model maker for his.
He did all
I
the
never knew
modelling
that.
effects.
I'm
for
just
this
looking
film.
at the information as you're telling me this.
Seriously, yeah. He started his career. This is what made it. He learned everything he knew off Roger Corman. And
Wow.
Roger Corman's known for B movies, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, so that's where Cameron started from and surpassed himself. You know, it's interesting.
Yeah, it says here that this was Cameron's first big break in the entertainment industry, and it helped to propel his career. And he was recommended by a long-term working partner, future wife Gail Ann Hurd. Of course, she worked. I think they worked with.
He married. I think he married her.
Yeah, and future wife, and of course they worked on Terminator. That's very interesting. Now it says, I'm just looking at some other information. It says that the composer was James Horner's third film score. He had previously worked on Roger Corman's Humanoids from the Deep, which I've never seen, and The Lady in Red. And the producer brought it back for Battle Beyond the Stars. The score features several elements that would become regular staples of Horner's many science fiction and adventure film scores. Several fans have noticed similarities between these scores and those for later films such as Krull and Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Horner would go on to become a regular collaborator with James Horner, eventually winning an Academy Award for Best Score for Titanic. So that's an interesting thing. So isn't it interesting how it all kind of... This film did shape a lot of the bigger films in the future after this.
This film is a history point. It's a note point in history, this film. This film stands... People can put this film down, but Battle Beyond the Stars is an amazing movie. It's bad, it's crazy, it's bonkers. The lead hero is cast it wrong, but it works. You've got her with the big assets, the other woman. You've got George Pepper's completely pissed as Space Cowboy. He's just been George Peppard. Robert Vaughn's playing this. There's this great scene where
Who's this? Go on.
like, he's hiding on him. He can't go anywhere in the universe because everybody's after him. And he's got all this treasure, and John Boy's there. He says, well, he says to him, I could buy your planet 10 times over. But he's like, look at it, yeah, but you can't fucking spend it, can you? You're stuck in here. And he says, well, I just want somewhere to go and have a meal. So that's how they're recruiting. And then there's the lizard guy in the bigger ship.
Oh, yeah.
With the two pointless little aliens that stand in front of a sonic tank and get vaporized. They all just sacrificed. None of them survived.
It was very strange the way it went, wasn't it, with the actual
It
casters?
was.
Yeah, it was really strange. I'm trying to think who played the lizard guy. Was it not Morgan Woodward? Earl Bean. Oh, Earl Bean was one of the Nestors. And the actor, unfortunately, he died this week. Earl Bean, of course, was Dr. Silverman in Terminator 1 and 2 and 3. And the actor played one of the 5 clones, and he died this week. And I liked him. He played Nagila as well in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, he did. And she died as well. The young woman, she died young as well.
Oh, did she? I didn't know she died.
Daniela Flugela, yeah, she died quite young, yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. No, it's okay.
She's lovely, isn't she? This film, this film is controversial in many ways, and it's the only film designed the worst fucking spaceship. Yet that spaceship suited John Boy. It suited him because he was.
Why did it suit him?
I don't know because John Boy Walton, I think his name's Richard Thomas. I'm not. To me, he's always going to be fucking John Boy.
It's Richard Thomas.
Right,
Thomas. Yeah.
And flying around. I know we disagree, but flying around in a pair of bollocks, looking for Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin to fit on top. I've seen it. You've showed it.
I've got it coming up now.
Yeah.
Okay, now that is not me doing the Photoshop there. It's just linking up to you now.
You've added nipples to it. That's
no, I'm not. Honestly, that is real.
Well, it don't look like that on my fucking poster. That is a pair of droopy bollocks, man.
Where? That's a nipple.
That fucking bit there. Yeah, there.
You don't have those black bits on your balls.
Look, you start from there, right? You go around, and it's a pair of droopy bollocks fitted to a uterus with, a bionic uterus. And it just there will go Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin. The missing part of Battle Beyond the Stars sequel 2. Or it could be a pair of breasticles.
Breasticles?
I can see where breasticles, yeah. I'm trying not to be, I'm trying to be politically
whoever designed that, I mean, I don't know who designed that ship. I mean, it's the most bizarre looking ship I've ever seen.
What the fuck is it?
I don't know.
What is that ship? What?
It was really bizarre. I mean, the thing is with this film, I mean, it's strange because I have seen it before, but most films of this caliber, I would have really had a copy of and had for years and seen it many times over. And I watched it again recently because I think we talked about it anyway.
Yeah, we did.
And I don't know why I haven't sort of had it in my collection more in the past, because it does. Really, although it's got its own unique vibe, it definitely has a mix of things like a little bit Star Trek, a little bit Battlestar Galactica, a little bit Buck Rogers in the 25th century, a little bit Star Wars as well. It's a real mix.
You just said something really interesting there.
What's that?
Because when you're watching this, you're picking up on like Star Trek the Motion Picture Klingon sort of music.
Yeah.
In bits. And also, when you watch it, somehow it feels like a Glenn Larson production.
It feels very Glenn Larson.
And for years, I thought Glenn Larson did this.
I would have thought so.
Years.
Especially the sound effects. Some of the ship's sound effects.
Because if you watch this on TV, you've never seen it, and you've watched a lot of Glenn Larson stuff, you're going to think, it's Glenn Larson, one of his.
Yeah.
But it's not. Yeah. It's got nothing to do with it.
But it's very, very... but this was done this probably would have been done just after or around about exactly the same time as Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Yeah.
So
I
it
saw
must have been
both-
influenced.
I saw both of them.
But
Yeah.
it must have been influenced. I assume that it was influenced from Glenn Larson than the other way around.
Yeah. Because Glenn Larson mastered. Because didn't Lucasfilm take him a court over Battlestar?
Oh,
There was a
I
big thing,
vaguely
yeah.
remember it. Yeah, a long
And I
time
think-
ago. Yeah,
I
there
think
was.
Battle-
Yeah, I remember that. There was
Battlestar
something about it.
basically Battlestar. He did Star Wars on the cheap with the effects.
Yes, he did.
Obviously not of that quality, but
But
the
it was
effects were
very
impressive,
influenced
anyway.
from Star Wars. It was that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that's right.
Vipers.
Yeah.
So, like, Roger Corman sat there after Buck Rogers. I think it's his most expensive film he did with this.
Right.
$2 million it cost.
Okay.
And it did quite well at the cinema. It mixed reviews. There were nothing really negative. People like this film.
Right.
And over years, people have developed a love for Battle Beyond the Stars. I've never met anybody that's knocked this movie. People have say it's weird, it's strange. You don't know where to put it, but it's got its own idea. It stands in its own place.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. We'll give the rating out of 10 at the end, but it's not a masterpiece, but I do like it a lot. So I'll give that a sort of like opinion at the end. So I mean, it's a film. If it did quite well in the box office, could it have had a sequel? I suppose it could have had a sequel because a lot of the characters were killed off.
Well, yeah, Magnificent Seven had 3 sequels, didn't it? I mean,
So if that's the case, then are you surprised they didn't make some sort of sequel continuation?
Yeah, I'm surprised. But then again, where do you go? I mean, you've got to realise that there is certain scenes in Battle Beyond the Stars which replicate the Magnificent Seven movie. There's certain scenes, because when I watched it recently, and I've watched Magnificent Seven, and there is certain things like where Charles Bronson's character's telling the kids, you
Yeah.
don't kill people. Robert Vaughn, there's that similar scene there. So
Right.
you start putting the characters to the certain actors, but John Boy is not fucking Yul Brynner. He's
John
not,
Boy.
and George Peppard, George Peppard is George Peppard, isn't he?
I like George Peppard.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. But I think he's
He's
meant
still
to be
the- he's
like
still,
Steve
um,
McQueen. He's like Steve McQueen's character.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and Robert Vaughn has been Robert Vaughn. I mean, he's just
Robert Vaughn is just Robert Vaughn. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You can't.
And then her with the big assets. She's the one. Do you remember the one in the original where he's following them? He wants to join them, but they're like,
I've not
won't let
seen
him.
that. I've not
That's
seen
who
that
she's
for a very
meant
long
to be.
time. I've not seen it for a long time.
You'll
actually.
notice
the parallels.
but there should have been a sequel.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
know
I'm
how
saying.
you'd have done the sequel because they all died.
Yeah, and even the ship got destroyed at the end, didn't it? As well, the Brest ship. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Thank God for that. You know, thank God.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously it has quite a what's this? We've got some stupid banners come up on my thing. Let's get rid of that. Sorry, get rid of that. It's definitely a cult classic, though, and it's certainly something where you have mentioned it before. In some ways, I'm surprised you haven't reviewed it earlier, but I did think it was a good film. The actor, though, that played John Boy, I'm just getting his information up, I can never remember his name, Richard Thomas. The best thing I ever saw him in, apart from The Waltons, which of course I'm not a big fan of, is alright, was an episode of The Outer Limits. And this is obviously the 90s one, the Canadian one. And it was an episode where he works in a lab and he's created these little nanobots, little nanites. It's a medicinal thing. It's to cure cancers. It's to cure basically any sort of cellular diseases and things. And he gives it to his brother-in-law, who's just found out he's got a year to live. And then, of course, as a normal sci-fi trope, the nanobots start to go wrong inside his body, and it starts to mutate and stuff. But he was really good in that. And I maybe it's because he was older. He would have been about 15 years older compared to when he made this, so he's a bit more mature. But I thought that he was great in that. And I think he was all right in this, but I don't know. He just felt something was lacking in him and his character for him to be almost like the Luke Skywalker of Battle Beyond the Stars kind of thing. Mark Hamill really nailed it in his role, but this guy didn't quite get to those heights.
It should have been Mark Hamill.
I would love to see Mark Hamill.
If you'd have put Mark Hamill in this film,
it would have been huge.
This film would have blown itself
It
out
would
of
have
the
been.
water,
It would have been.
totally,
It would have probably
yeah.
now. Think of an alternate universe where he did do that, and it's probably now like 6 movies, and it's probably on. It's got its own sort of like streaming shows on, and it's like the next Battle Beyond the Stars show starting next week or something. I could see that.
I mean, it's even the name of the film draws you in. Even the name of the film draws you in. Battle Beyond the Stars. It really does. And Mark Hamill in this, this would have been, the movie.
Yeah.
I just, John Boy, I will say this about Richard Thomas. I saw him he did a series of horror movies.
Did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
You might be worth you checking one out.
All right.
Stepdad. They were made for video. Yeah, the woman marries this fella. He ends up being a serial killer, and it's John Boy Watt. And he did play the character. It's really creepy.
So I take it was
really creepy because he's nice with it, and that's what made him quite scary.
sort of scary.
Yeah,
So was that made? When was that made though? When were those films made?
I think it was VHS days.
So mid 80s.
I think it was straight to either late 80s, early 90s.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, yeah.
But I think there were. I've only seen one. I think there were 2 or 3 movies where he got married again and did it again.
Okay.
But it's called Stepdad, and he had the one I shot. But he's pretty freaky, actually. Might be worth you checking out.
Yeah, all right.
He comes across very good as a psychopathic killer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Interesting that, isn't it? How he's sort of he's absolutely fucking useless in this film.
I think the actor got better as his career, because obviously he's quite young. Was this done before the Waltons or after? I don't know when the Waltons was made.
No, Waltons were done a few years before this.
Oh, but then of course that was another ensemble thing.
Waltons were 70s, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I think it was. I think Walton were late mid-70s.
I just know it used to be on all the time when I was a kid. That's all I know about it.
I mean, it was one of them things that were on in background in our house.
Yeah, that's the same as ours.
I never really bothered with it. And then BBC, I think BBC started repeating it. I caught episodes of it later in life. I mean, it was all right. I mean, I'm not going to knock it. It's an institution.
Well, no, it's like not everybody's taste. It's not probably something that we'd both.
And it ran for about 7 seasons, and he was
quite
good in it. But the one thing I've never forgiven him for.
What's that?
The one thing he was the main protagonist in the Invaders remake.
Was he?
Yeah.
And I take it wasn't very good.
Have you not seen the Invaders remake?
Well, I think
be prepared to lose 3 hours of your life.
That's why I've not seen it, because you've been really negative about it. So if you say, "Oh, this is shite," I'm not going to be thought. Oh, right,
it's fucking awful.
That's why I've not seen it.
I don't mean to change the subject, but it is connected to Richard Thomas. I'm not knocking him as an actor. He's probably a really nice guy. He needs to get rid of that spot. Do you know what I mean? Well, that's what my mate said over there. He says, "What fucking spotlight?" Do you know what I mean? No, I'm joking.
Go on.
But it's in the Invader. You've got Scott Bakula's in it. It's quite a big star.
I know he's in it. Yeah.
And when I saw the poster in the video library of the Invaders coming, I never saw Aaron Spelling's name underneath. And I couldn't get it out for about 3 weeks. It were books up all the time. And when I finally got hold of it, I thought, what the bloody hell am I watching? This has got nothing to do with the original series.
Yeah,
I think we should cover 90s Invaders.
Yeah,
I really
let's put it on the list. I need to watch it.
Bad.
Yeah, okay. We'll put it on the list.
You're not going to get 3.5 hours of your life back. Trust me on that.
Yeah,
but he's not bad in that. He plays it again. He's playing that stepdad. He marries a human woman. He's bringing the kids up, and he's playing that creepy sort of character again. And I think playing creepy characters, I think he could have probably been a bigger star.
Right.
I think he could, but he was not fitted to
I
this
think
film.
he was a
Should
bit
have
young.
been Mark Hamill.
I also think he might have been slightly too young and inexperienced when he played the character in Battle Beyond the Stars. Maybe, I think as an actor he got better later on in his career, especially going back to the Outer Limits episode I saw, where he was sound in that episode.
Yeah, I've seen him in other stuff and he's very good.
I just think he might have been, it must have been one of his first film roles as well.
But he was the biggest star in the Waltons. He was the one that everybody...
Now, we've got Zoom...
That's why he probably got offered Battle Beyond the Stars. He was coming off the Waltons at the time.
Right, we're going to, in a second, we're going to go to our fade in a second. So let's just wrap up, and out of 10, what would you give this out of 10?
Do you know, I'm going to be generous because this film's been very good to me. I'm going to give it a 10.
Okay. I think I'll give it a 7.7.
No, because I think it's worth a 10. I really do.
Yeah, I like it.
Because it holds a special place in your heart.
Yeah,
it's a mixture
don't forget, you've seen it a lot
things.
more. You've seen it before a lot more than me. This is what I said to you before. I've only seen it once about 30 years ago, and I've only just seen it now. But I did like it, and I'm going to give it 7.7. I think so.
All right.
I think that was pretty good. Okay, at this point, we're going to fade out and come back in. We've got a bit of sci-fi news to talk about as well, and then we'll wrap things up. So we'll catch you in a second. Actually, we'll go into the Solar One sci-fi news. Here we go. Right, and we're back. So a couple of things which are interesting to actually talk about, and I want to. This could be something which we're going to be focusing on next week. I was checking out Jay from Sidetrek, who's hopefully potentially could be joining us next week for a special, which I want to do with Martin, if you're agreeable. Now, his channel are very, very astute on knowing anything going on potentially in the Stargate universe. There's been lots of talk about who's going to be, if a new show is going to be done, if it's done, when it's going to be set, if it's going to be a prequel, if it's going to be a sequel. And I was watching a clip this morning where he said now that potentially, I can't remember the name of the company, but apparently the people that do the Expanse series will be actually. You've heard about this as well, have you, Martin?
Yeah, I said it last week. I mentioned that last week.
No, but this has been even more updated now. That it was looking a bit more dubious last week, but it's looking now, and again it's early, that it's looking like it's a lot more on the cards again. So it's literally every time I check out his channel or their channel, there's new news going on, whether it's a meeting that's sort of fallen through, or they're going to regroup, or at one point, like, even last week it was like potentially could have been Bad Robot might be doing it. So we haven't got any definite confirmation of a new series yet, but at this point, compared to even last week on our show, it's now looking a bit more positive again. So, how do you feel about that, Martin? Are you just going to wait until?
I don't want to look. I think the people that create the Expanse, I think they're amazing what they did with that. I think it's been the best science fiction I've seen in a decade.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan of that series, but my issue with Stargate, I don't want a reboot.
No.
Expanse, take it 20 years on, not a problem. But I don't want a reboot. Because I just don't want to get reinvested in. You know, I think I invested a lot of time in. I love Stargate. I keep going back to it.
I do.
And I just rather have a sequel to it. I don't want a reboot. If they do it that way, I'll be very happy with it. So
yeah,
for me
too.
I think it's pointless doing a reboot.
It's a funny show because I often just sometimes think, let's just bang on an episode of Stargate. And like last week, I banged on an episode of Stargate Atlantis, the episode called Vegas, which was the second to last episode.
With the Wraith guy
with the Wraith who's dressed up, and
very
it's like
good.
Excellent episode, and it had really good music.
It was very detective. Very good.
And the way it was actually put together, and it was sort of like it had a sort of different spin on the usual, and it worked really well. And you know, I'm just worried, you know, like I said, after seeing what they have done with some of the elements of the Star Trek, and we said this before, I just hope that, please, if it does come back, please be done by people who know what Stargate's about and what it is and what it evolved into after the original 1994 movie, into those 3 wonderful series that came after it, and the whole universe literally that it generated. And it was, you see, what makes Stargate successful for me, I think, it's because it generated so much content. It's the same as Star Trek. Star Trek from 1996 to 2005, we had so many series, so many seasons, and different spin-offs and things, and there was a lot of stuff to watch there.
Hundreds
of episodes, and Stargate generated hundreds as well. And it was like, what I liked about it, this is why the 90s Trek was my favourite era, because you'd have like Dr. Bashir talking to Data in an episode, or you'd have like Thomas Riker, and it's all slotted together. And Stargate also had that opportunity, and they did it as well. Sometimes in the later episodes of season 10 of Stargate, and then season 4 or 5 of 3 or 4 of Atlantis, I sometimes wouldn't know which series I was watching because they were so mixed over. I loved it. It was almost like not a soap opera exactly, but I like that.
No, so I like universe building when you expand into somewhere else.
That's what I'm saying.
Babylon 5 did it.
They did that as well. They did that as well.
And you get to see much more of the bigger picture, and I love all that. I don't have a problem with it.
So, like I said, I just hope that if it comes back, it's done by people who get Stargate and get what it's about.
For me, I've said how this should be set up. It's 20 years later. Earth's got colonies now, a couple of colonies out there, and they can handle themselves out there as well. The Earth's more unified than before because of the exposure of the Stargate. There's been massive changes on Earth with technology and how people see the world. It's like it's been psychological and I'd like to know the price and the cost for the human race for that when we got exposed to everybody in the world.
Yeah. Okay. Can I just say
that's where you can really
let me just say the internet is a bit unstable, and you do sound a bit like a Dalek again. So, but that's fine.
Oh, you moved again. Your image froze.
Yeah, you did too. It's all right. It's just the internet's playing up both ends. So again. I know we talked about Stargate a lot recently, but it still looks like potentially. I think we'll find out soon whether it's a go or whether it's going to be put on the back burner for a number of years again. I think hopefully we get to that point now where it's going to go either way. And so fingers crossed, it's going to come back. It's going to get people involved who know what it's all about, and hopefully continue and actually have Jack O'Neill or Carter come along. Oh, okay, they're older, but they can make a guest appearance. It'd be great. Please don't reboot it, please.
Well, O'Neill's in charge of the old Stargate thing now.
Yeah, well, why not? And Carter be high up as well or something.
She's high up. She's like high up in it all as well. There's a whole new government.
I really, really, really hope they do that. So, so that's the main news I've got. Really, it was just the Stargate. Have you got any other news this week?
I watched something about Warner Brothers. Somebody were on it. Do you know how much Warner Brothers is in debt?
No, I don't. There's not much.
50 billion.
50 billion?
Yeah.
Well,
get up to their eyeballs.
What does Warner Brothers do in respect of sci-fi content?
Well, they do all superhero stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But they've had been cancelling loads of projects since this new guy took them. But apparently, they're 50 billion in debt, and they've got to make a payment of 5 billion this year to keep it going.
Well, that'd be a shame.
Shocking, that, isn't it?
Do you think he might get bought out by some company? Like sometimes that happens, or something?
It won't surprise me. Surprise me. I think Disney might have. I think Disney probably overextended on it at the moment.
Because MGM
because they bought Fox, didn't they? And that cost them how much?
I mean, MGM were in a bad state. This is partly why Stargate failed back in 2011, I think it was, before they made that last movie. But now they're back on track now, aren't they?
Well,
So-
that's why we never got the Atlantis movie, did we?
That's right. Or the last SG-1.
We never got
movie.
the Atlantis movie, did we? You know.
No.
Yeah,
Well-
them 2 DVDs, them SG-1 DVDs that came out,
Yeah.
they showed a profit. They showed a vast profit
Did they?
on DVD. So they could have made the Atlantis.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
they made money when they released them Stargate
Arc of
movies,
Truth
yeah.
and Continuum. Arc of Truth and
Yeah,
Continuum.
yeah. Well, when they were released on DVD, they made a lot of money, and I still can't. So they could have done an Atlantis, that they got the money back. It
Yeah.
don't make sense.
Yeah, but it was beyond that at the time, wasn't it? I mean, the only thing that they... Oh, no, MGM just... Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens anyway. What else is going on? They're doing some filming for the new Doctor Who at the moment. So there's a few sort of scenes, and this is weird slug creature or something. Still not sure what to make of the new series. I'll give it a go. But like I said, do you still feel a bit sort of on the fence about new Doctor Who when it comes back, or what do you think?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Give it a go. See what it's like.
I'm not over excited about it, but see what it's like.
Yep. Oh, and Paramount has released a new poster for Star Trek Picard Season 3. It's quite a nice design. It obviously shows the Next Generation crew. So
Yeah, it's
we're
very
only about 6 weeks to go now until it comes on. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I keep
Yes,
saying this.
I've got a
good
feeling this
feeling.
could be all right.
I've got a good feeling about this. I really do, because it's their last chance. Oh, and apparently it might be now the case
Yep.
that they might do something after Picard of some sort. There might be some sort of continuation of some sort. Well, I don't know whether Patrick Stewart will be involved, but he has said that he is still open to doing something in the future. So it might not be finished with the Next Generation era. As long as they do another series set at this point with crossovers, and we'd love to have some DS9 characters come back. Voyager, we want to have that. That's really what we want. So fingers
I
crossed.
just want to get back into 24th century. That's what I.
Well, it'd be 25th now, but I know what you mean.
The 25th. Yeah, I'd like to see DS9 and the Dominion and all that. Really like to go back to that.
The poster, by the way, has, I assume it's Law, but he's wearing a Starfleet uniform, which is interesting.
Ooh, reprogrammed him.
Yeah, but I reckon what they're going to do is, do you remember they tried to get Data's memory into B4, and B4 was
It
too
didn't work,
primitive?
did it? Yeah.
I reckon that it's going to eventually go into Law. I think Law will become the new Data. What?
Well,
They can't go. Well, okay,
can't
what
we
do you
just
think?
have him as a baddie?
Well,
He's
he
been
might be.
switched off for 30 years and he's a bit pissed about it.
He looked a bit pissed off in the one scene we saw him in the trailer where Geordie goes,
They did.
No!
They did.
he sort of like goes. It's like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's it for news, though. I'm afraid there's nothing much else to report this week. So, unless you've got anything else.
No, that's it. I'm off now. So I'll see you next week. And yeah, it's been wonderful. So that's it. No, I ain't got anything. There's nothing.
No, that's fine. Now, for next week, we are hopefully going to have Jay from Sidetrack involved. He said he'd be interested in joining us for the show. If he does come on, which would be great, I think what we'll be doing is talking about, hopefully, because it's still early in the year, what predictions in science fiction we'll have in 2023, what we think will be the good things, the bad things, the things we're not that bothered about. So hopefully you'll join us, and it should be interesting.
The week after, I want to do the 2 Deep Space Nine episodes.
Yes. So are we choosing 2 episodes specifically? Oh no, it's the pilot.
Yeah.
So you need to let me know what episodes and
The Sanctuary ones.
The Sanctuary District ones. Okay.
And comparing it to today's. Are we going down that path?
Yeah. And technically, it's only a year and a half away from actually us getting us there in the world.
God.
It is September 2024.
Oh, for God's sake.
So what would be the better universe, Sanctuary District or Britain in 2024?
I don't know. So we're living Silent Bloody Green at the moment, and next year's going to be fucking Sanctuary Districts. It's
Actually,
just getting worse.
Solid Green was last year, actually, but yeah, not even.
When are we going to get to the golden era of mankind? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be just yet, I'm afraid to say.
Yeah, because somebody set up on Facebook a sci-fi calendar of all the events in the.
I've
world
seen
of
that,
science
and it goes looks really
Yeah,
clever.
yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really funny.
It's not looking very positive, is it?
Well, no, because we've just had Logan. Logan's Run was about 5 years ago, and now we've had Silent Green
Yeah,
last year.
yeah,
We've got Sanctuary District next year, and then when is it until Planet of the Apes? That's what I'm worried about. So
Nah, we're 1,000 years. Oh no, I don't know. I think the ape revolution started in the
1990s, 1991, I
Yeah,
think.
we lost the moon in '99, didn't we? September
Yes.
11. Yeah, we lost the moon, and so I mean we're getting there. We're getting there, you know. So I mean it's the Sanctuary District.
But when's
next year.
Starfleet going to show up, and when are we going to actually get a Federation?
Well, no, we have to have World War III.
Oh God,
Eugenics
you know that's
war,
right.
World War
Eugenics.
IV.
No, Eugenics Wars was 1996. Although
Yeah, but I think
it
they
moved
changed
around. They
it in
changed it.
canon because apparently eugenics war. This is the excuse now because
They've changed
in the
it.
'60s serial he actually conquered a continent, a continent, didn't he? And he was ruler. Well, apparently, I watched somebody who put a very good analysis. The eugenics war. A lot of these super people, there were politicians and businessmen manipulating events in the background.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do now. Because when Janeway went back to Earth in the '90s, I was sat there thinking, yeah, but the eugenics thing's starting now, and they're not. It's all in the background. They're like rich industrialists and
Yeah, they did try to sort of. Well, it's not their fault. We caught up in real time. That's the problem.
yeah. Well, that's true. That's
you know,
true.
I mean, there's.
and it does make sense that I could see running the world like that.
But wasn't it April 4th, 2063 was when, in First Contact, when they got there, and that was after World War III, which I think was. When was it after? I think it was mid 21st
Archer
century.
did mention that they made a World War IV movie, and it was a love story. World War IV. Because
World War
Archer
IV?
mentioned it to that.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't know that.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know about
So we've got we've got a bit to go before we get to golden age, you know.
that. I'm just looking forward to the spring so it stops
And,
bloody
and
raining.
don't forget,
Go on.
right? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think we should get a copy of that calendar and put it up and see what. Well, there were some positive things on there. I mean, we get 700 years of Starfleet, don't we? Till the great.
I'll see if I can find it. Actually, it might be quite fun.
You know, I'm just saying. I mean, there is some potential, isn't there? There's, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's I like I said to you before. I mean, I think the actual future is quite sort of scary now. So it's kind of like you know, you don't know quite what the future's going to. I mean, I think in the end you just have to hope for the best kind of thing. Ah, here we are. What's this?
Yeah.
This might be something to share with you.
Have you found it? Have you found it?
I have done, and if I do, I can share it on here. Obviously.
I just looked at it once.
Oh,
We've done
God.
well. We survived Armageddon, didn't we, Bruce Willis? I mean, we got through that. I mean, we ain't done bad, have we, really?
No, here we are.
And we've survived numerous. And don't forget, in the 80s, we got invaded by lizards. I mean, you know.
What you mean V? You mean? Here we go.
Yeah.
Ah, right. Hang on a minute. No, this isn't quite right. There it goes. That's 2012. No, this is rubbish.
All right.
No, this isn't the thing. Sorry, mate. Otherwise, it would have been.
If I
maybe
find
next
it,
time.
if I find it, I'll copy it and send it.
Yeah,
to
I know the one you mean, and I just
Yeah.
thought if I googled it, it would come up with. It's something you get on Facebook or something, but it is quite
Yeah.
funny. But I think this year. There's no So I think this year there's no Soylent Green and there's no Sanctuary District. So let's just make it a good year. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Martin.
Just
All
want it to
right.
stop raining.
Yeah. Do you know what? Please, if there's anybody out there, stop it raining in the UK. Okay. I'm pissed off with the wet rain and the wind. Please, I'm sick and tired of it. It's been terrible. I keep moaning to everybody about the rain. I'm not going to go on about it too much here because, you know. If you're watching this in the States, they're going to say, "Well, who cares? It's nice over here. We're sunny. We live in Florida." You know what I mean?
They've been suffering some big winter thing out there.
Yeah, I heard about that. It was really
Yeah,
some sort of
yeah.
like the worst, sort of like the worst storm you get in decades or something for it being cold.
Yeah,
or
I think Trek fans are right. Lives in Florida, don't they?
I think
He
somebody
gets
asked
nice,
about him. And
Wonderful
he said
weather, don't they? You know.
I think somebody asked, and he said he was doing okay apparently, so he was all right.
right.
So that's good. So yeah, hi Trek fan. Happy New Year
Yeah.
to you, mate, as well. So He's always very
in
supportive.
Florida and the beautiful weather.
Not in
Yeah, we're
Portsmouth
coming
and
over
London.
to see you, mate. You know, we're coming over. Trek fan, we're coming over to stay, you know, blue skies and Florida sun.
So
We're coming
if he suddenly unsubscribes today, you'll know what happened. Okay, so. All right, Martin, I'm going to sign off. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
All right, then,
Dad
buddy.
Got the Movie. We'll catch you next week on the Solo One Sci-Fi podcast. Live long and prosper.
Yep, live long and prospers.